So you actually did it, bro. You actually removed that bullshit from your phone. But it feels weird, doesn't it? Like you don't even know what to do with all the free time that you now have. After all the years of countless scrolling, you finally took some initiative. That is an absolute huge step in the right direction. So I commend you, man. But the mission is far from over and there is much more to be done. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what your next steps should be. So I remember sitting in this very room, and at the time it was pretty dark. This light wasn't shining in my face, and I was actually sat on my own, and I was sat on this chair. It was obviously looking rugged as ever. I remember just feeling a little bit confused, and I had this significant decision that was in my head and I was contemplating it. I had the thoughts running through my brain as I was staring at my phone screen, where I had the soft light literally beaming into my eyes. You know, that blinding light that you have every time you look at your phone, but you kind of don't even notice that light's there anymore because your eyes get adjusted to it after so many years of abuse that you give your soul by looking at the phone. I'd created this intimate atmosphere between my head and the mobile phone. It was like tunnel vision, looking straight at the phone, scrolling through all of this media that I was about to no longer see. And I had these thoughts going all the way through my head. Shall I delete them? Shall I not delete them? What if I miss out? What if people want to get hold of me? What am I going to do if I miss out on this piece of news? What am I going to do? I'm going to feel all of this FOMO, and this hesitation and this feeling of apprehensiveness was also mingled with this desire to feel liberation from being free from this literal glue that's been a part of my life for so many years. And all I remember is me just looking at it and just thinking, you know what, fuck it. I got my finger, put it straight on my device, and I just deleted the apps straight off my phone, one after one after one. Instagram gone, TikTok gone, Snapchat gone. And for the moments that continued after that, all I can say is how my head had transformed from this angry bee's nest to this tranquil, flowing stream of water. It almost felt like my head was emptied. I had so much clarity and so much space within an instant. And it felt strange. It did. I kind of liked it. And it was almost like this dull room that I was sat in. It almost felt like the darkness had kind of subsided a little bit and some light came through. This is making me sound like I'm some kind of spiritual shit, like spiritual guru or something. But I swear this is how it made me feel. I just felt this rush of life run through me. And for the days that followed this sort of newfound clarity that I had within the walls of my brain, there also came a couple of challenges. And one of the main challenges was that I just had so much spare time, and I actually found myself being a little bit bored at times. I didn't know what to do with myself. That's the truth. The last time I had this much time was when I was about 5 years old and I was running through the daisy fields. But anyway, this absence of this bullshit digital stimuli left kind of a voidness in my life. And of course, just like any hole, you have to find a way to fill it up. What happened next was undoubtedly the best thing to ever happen in my life, because this void became the opportunity for me to self-discover and redirect my focus inward and really learn who I am as a man and what I want to be and what I want my legacy to be. So I started doing all of the stuff that you probably know very well through self-improvement, okay? And I'll just go through them very briefly. I feel like my story was slightly unique in the fact that I kind of discovered self-improvement on my own, and I actually started going to a boxing club because this is what made me feel confident, and this is what gave me this rush of energy and this rush of taking a risk that I didn't know I needed until obviously I'd been boxing. And then after I did that, I started journaling, I started meditating, and I started focusing on my career. And that, as a bundle of things, was just the most liberating thing to ever happen out of my life. And I feel like most of this happened because I had so much free time, and this free time had been created because I just said, you know what, fuck off to those mobile apps. But if you want to know exactly what you should be doing now that you've done exactly the same thing, you've been and lived that story of deleting social media, what you can do is this. You need to use the free time that you now have to learn about your purpose. This sounds quite intimidating if you're hearing this for the first time. What is my purpose? Well, how do I find out what my purpose is? You need to literally think about the things that make the hairs on your arm stand up. What is it in your life that gives you so much joy to the point where you'd even do it for free? And this can be anything. You don't have to limit yourself to what society thinks you should do. So for me, it was starting this YouTube channel. Where I grew up, no one does this thing. Like, literally nobody. I'm completely in a world of my own here, and the amount of people that tell me, give up, don't do it, buddy. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make money. Everyone says it. And to this day, it's the same thing. But this is what I feel is my purpose. This is what makes the hairs on my arm stand up. This gives me joy. So you need to think about that for yourself. And if you're struggling to think off the top of your head, just write it down. And you could even make up a notes app in your phone, and you could go for a walk, you could go for a shower. You don't have to do it all in one day. This could take you weeks to figure out. You'll find that these ideas are going to come to your head when you're least expecting them, and that's why I said to go for a walk. That's why I said to go for a shower, because how often do you do these things and then just random thoughts pop into your head, and then you say, oh, I'll act on that thought later, but then you forget about it 6 hours later, because that's just how our mind works. That's why you need to have your phone with you, so that you can write down your thought in your notes app. And essentially, writing this down is what's going to really clarify it and solidify it in your Swede, okay? After you know what your purpose is, and after you dedicate yourself to it, this is where you need to write down your goals and your actionable steps. So your goals are literally the things that you want to be achieving by, the end of the year, 3 years' time, 5 years' time. You want to be knowing exactly where you want to be at these periods of your life. You even want to know where you're going to be next week, next month. You want to have it written down so you have clarity. And then you can use that to work out actionable steps to actually reach those goals. And I would say the actionable steps are more important than the goals. Use those actionable steps because this is your path to actually reaching the light at the end of the tunnel. And no, I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about achieving your goal. Maybe I could have used a better analogy there, but the next thing you want to be doing is booking yourself a holiday. And how many people do you hear say that? Probably not very many. But the reason for this is because when you book yourself a holiday, not only do you have something to look forward to, and you'll be earning a fruit to your labour, but you can also use this holiday as a deadline so that you can get all of your work and focus on your mission and be determined and motivated to do the best work possible so that you can go and enjoy the fruit of your labour when you eventually go on holiday. But this is just such a great motivator, because if you constantly work and you're disciplined 100% of the time, then there's no fun in life. You kind of have to enjoy parts of your life if you want to sustain this road to achieving your mission. I believe life is about sacrifice and reward. Nobody wants to live like a monk. Well, some people might do, but I definitely don't, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to either if you're watching this video. Now, the next thing you want to be doing is getting out of your comfort zone and taking risks. So for me, one of the biggest life-changing moments was when I first stepped into my boxing gym. I walked in there, and I probably, I didn't walk in there like that, like I should have done. I walked in there with my shoulders in, head down, I was nervous, of course, and it was freezing cold. I'm pretty sure it was January as well. And all of these things just made it more intimidating for me. But I soon very quickly learned that actually this was the best place for me to be. As soon as I'd left that gym, as soon as I'd stepped out and drove back home, I realised how I should have done this much sooner. I realised how much fun I had getting out of my comfort zone, and how feeling fear is something you should be grateful for if you actually go against it. If you sit inside and you get into your little ball of cotton wool, then you're going to be living like the 99% of the population who are basically just living like sheep. You don't want to be that. You want to be your own man, okay? And pretty much after you've done that, you repeat the cycle, because these are the things that are going to really move the needle and actually create a difference to your life. There are obviously other things that you can add into that, but essentially these are the major things that are going to completely impact your life now that you've deleted social media. Doesn't that sound great? You have so much time. Go and do something amazing. Go outside, breathe some fresh air. You can live now. You can actually live. You're free from the hellhole of the mobile devices. Now, if you want to increase your muscle mass and you want to feel better in yourself and more confident, then I'm going to give you my free diet plan, which you can get from the description below. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.